Welcome to Online Learning Class 10 Biology Circulatory System Part 3. This is your lesson number 11. In the previous two parts of the circulatory system, we have discussed blood and its components. We have also seen blood types, that is the blood groups, RH factor and the process of clotting. Today we are going to discuss the structure of the heart and its mechanism, its working. Before I start the structure of the heart and the mechanism of its working, there was many children in my interactive class who wanted to know how arteries change into veins. So I thought I would give you an example so that you would be able to understand this in a better manner. We all know that water is pumped to our houses from water bodies. This water is pumped via big pipelines into the city, from where it goes to every sector. In every sector, it goes to every society that is present there, and from the society, it comes to our houses. In our house also, it goes to every tap that is present in our house, and we use that water. After using that water, the rest of it is collected back via the sewage lines, and it goes from every house to the main pipeline, from where it is taken back to the water bodies after it has been filtered to be circulated once again. Now let us take the same thing in our case. We have the heart, which is the pumping station. It pumps blood via the aorta to every organ in our body. When a blood vessel takes it to an organ, we call it an artery. For example, if the blood vessel is taking the blood to the kidneys, we call it the renal artery. This renal artery enters the kidney, divides and redivides into small units called arterioles, and then into capillaries. Exchange of gases and nutrients takes place in the capillaries. These capillaries reunite to collecting all the waste, that is the carbon dioxide contents that is there and the nitrogenous waste that is present there, and takes it back into larger capillaries, which are known as venules and then veins. The renal vein will leave the kidneys and is then pours its blood into the inferior vena cava, which carries it back to the heart. Children, isn't it similar to the water supply and sewage system? In our case, it is the same, just like that. Now, with this in our mind, let us start the structure of the heart. First, we will discuss the location of the heart. The heart, unlike what people think, that it is placed in the left, the heart is centrally located in between the lungs, but it is tilted slightly towards the left. That is the reason why people think the heart is on the left side of their body. Because of this, the left lung has 2 lobes, whereas the right lung has 3 lobes. The heart is well protected by the sternum in front, the ribs on the sides, and the vertebral column at the back. It also has a membrane covering, which is known as the pericardium. The inner layer of the pericardium is called the visceral layer, that is the part which is closer to the heart, and the outer one is known as the parietal layer. There is a space between these 2 layers which is known as the pericardial cavity, and inside this pericardial cavity is a fluid which is known as the pericardial fluid. This fluid is very important because it protects the heart from any type of mechanical injury. It keeps the tissues of the heart moist, and it acts as a lubricant and reduces friction. Next, we come to the structure of the heart, the blood vessels entering and leaving the heart. The heart is a hollow, highly muscular organ which undergoes rhythmic beating. That is, from the time even before you are born, the heart starts pumping blood, and the day it stops, that means you are dead. It is divided. All mammalian hearts, for that matter, are divided into 4 chambers, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Auricles are known as they are the upper chambers, and they are known as the receiving chambers. That is, they receive the blood. The ventricles are known as the distributing chambers. That is, blood goes out from here to different organs. There are 4 main walls of the heart. Between the right atrium and the right ventricle, we have a valve which is known as the tricuspid valve. On the left side, between the left atrium and the left ventricle, again we have a valve which is known as the bicuspid valve or the mitral valve. There is also a valve at the mouth of the pulmonary artery. It is known as the pulmonary semilunar valve. There is another valve which is present at the mouth of the aorta and is known as the aortic semilunar valve. The blood vessels that enter the heart are the superior vena cava, that into the right atrium, right auricle, is the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. Together with this, there is another blood vessel that enters inside which is known as the coronary sinus. On the left side, we have 4 blood vessels entering inside. They are the pulmonary veins, 2 coming from the right lung and 2 coming from the left lung. The pulmonary artery is the blood vessel that leaves the ventricle and goes to the lungs. You can see very clearly it is blue in color. And the aorta is the blood vessel that leaves the left ventricle and goes to all parts of the body. Chambers of the heart. There are 4 chambers of the heart, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Now let us see each one of them. Auricles. They are thin-walled chambers present at the base of the heart. The broader portion of the heart is called the base of the heart. They are 2 in number. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body via the superior and inferior vena cava. The superior vena cava does not have a valve, but the inferior vena cava has a valve which is known as the Eustachian valve. Ventricles. They are a pair of thick-walled chambers. They are present towards the apex on the lower side. They are 2 in number and they receive deoxygenated blood from the right atrium via the tricuspid valve, that is the right ventricle receives it, and the left ventricle receives the oxygenated blood from the left atrium via the bicuspid or the mitral valve. In human beings, we have double circulation. Double circulation means blood has to travel twice through the heart so as to circulate once through the body. Double circulation, we have 2 aspects in it. The pulmonary circulation, circulation of deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the left atrium or auricle via the lungs. Now look at the diagram. You can very clearly see that there is a blood vessel, we call it the pulmonary artery, that carries the blood. It is blue in color here. It carries the blood from the right ventricle to the lungs for oxygenation. Here, after oxygenation, it becomes bright red in color and comes back to the left auricle. From the left auricle, it goes to the left ventricle and then via the aorta, it is carried to all parts of the body and then gets deoxygenated and the blood comes back to the heart. This is known as systemic circulation. Together, it is called double blood circulation. Now, the question arises, does the heart contract on its own or is some other system helping in its contraction? Yes, we have the medulla oblongata which sends an instruction to the sino-auricular node which is present in the heart, and the wave of contraction begins from here. Hence, SA node is also known as the pacemaker. The heart has 4 bundles of specialized muscle fibers having the property of neurons. They are present in the walls of the heart. Impulses are conducted through them. First, SA node. It lies near the opening of the superior vena cava. Then comes the AV node. It lies near the ventral margin of the intra-auricular septum. The 2 auricles are divided by a septum and that is known as the intra-auricular septum. Bundle of His. It arises from the AV node and has 2 branches. It runs up to the apex. You can see that red one that comes down to the apex of the heart, that is called the bundle of His. They are 2 in number. One goes to the right side, one goes to the left side. Then this leads to the Purkinje fibers. They are branches that arise from the bundle of His and spread throughout the wall of the ventricles. They are the ones that lead to contraction of the ventricles. Conduction of the heartbeat. The heartbeat originates as at the SA node. I just told you that is why it's called the pacemaker. As the wave of contraction spreads from here, the auricles contract. Then it reaches the AV node. The AV node, it conducts it to the bundle of His, and the bundle of His then conducts the impulse to the Purkinje fibers and the ventricles contract. Now, let us see the heartbeat or cardiac cycle. One heartbeat consists of 4 phases. Auricular systole. Systole means contraction phase and diastole means relaxation phase. Auricular systole. In this phase, the auricles contract and send the blood to the ventricles. It is completed in 0.15 seconds. As soon as it contracts, it starts relaxing. This is known as auricular diastole. Immediately, the ventricular systole starts. During this time, the ventricles contract and push the blood into the aorta and the pulmonary artery respectively. It is completed in 0.30 seconds. After that, all the 4 chambers of the heart relax for 0.4 seconds. This is known as joint diastole. With this, we come to the end of our chapter. I hope you have understood everything. Take care of yourselves, eat well, and look after yourselves. God bless you all. Before I end, I would like to show you a video which will explain whatever I have talked till now. That is the structure of the heart, the walls that are present, and the movement of blood from the heart to all parts of the body. Thank you once again. Enjoy yourselves and have a great day.
Your heart is a pump. It's a muscular organ about the size of your fist and is located slightly left of center in your chest. Your heart is divided into the right and left side. The division protects oxygen-rich blood from mixing with oxygen-poor blood. Together, your heart and blood vessels comprise your cardiovascular system, which circulates blood and oxygen around your body. In fact, your heart pumps about 5 quarts of blood every minute, and it beats about 100,000 times in one day. That's about 35 million times in a year. Oxygen-poor blood, blue blood, returns to the heart after circulating through your body. The right side of the heart, composed of the right atrium and ventricle, collects and pumps the blood to the lungs through the pulmonary arteries. The lungs refresh the blood with a new supply of oxygen, making it turn red. Oxygen-rich blood, red blood, then enters the left side of the heart, composed of the left atrium and ventricle, and is pumped through the aorta to the body to supply tissues with oxygen. 4 valves within your heart keep your blood moving the right way. The tricuspid, mitral, pulmonary, and aortic valves work like gates on a fence. They open only one way and only when pushed on. Each valve opens and closes once per heartbeat, or about once every second. A beating heart contracts and relaxes. Contraction is called systole, and relaxing is called diastole. During systole, your ventricles contract, forcing blood into the vessels going to your lungs and body, much like ketchup being forced out of a squeeze bottle. The right ventricle contracts a little bit before the left ventricle does. Your ventricles then relax during diastole and are filled with blood coming from the upper chambers, the left and right atria. Then the cycle starts over again. Your heart is nourished by blood too. Blood vessels called coronary arteries extend over the surface of your heart and branch into smaller capillaries. Here you can see just the network of blood vessels that feed your heart with oxygen-rich blood. Your heart also has electrical wiring, which keeps it beating. Electrical impulses begin high in the right atrium and travel through specialized pathways to the ventricles, delivering the signal to pump. The conduction system keeps your heart beating in a coordinated and normal rhythm, which in turn keeps blood circulating. The continuous exchange of oxygen-rich blood with oxygen-poor blood is what keeps you alive.